Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I'm down here at Prachuap Khiri Beach, and I want to show you this. This is so awesome, you guys. These people are trash heroes, and they're cleaning up the beautiful beach. Totally, look at that. That's totally awesome, man. So they, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This beach is so clean. This is fantastic. I don't know whether this is monthly, weekly, daily, doesn't matter to me. All I know is that it occurs. And these folks, these fine folks, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. What's happening, Paul? These fine folks in these yellow t-shirts. I don't know if you saw the one that I just walked by over there. But howdy doody, Aaron. Good to see you. I'll get up to one of these folks up here and you maybe can see what it says. At the end of the day, what it says is it says, I'm a trash hero. And these people are absolutely my heroes because they're picking up the trash that's on the beach. Now, you could argue, well, they could do this, or proactively, we could make it so that trash doesn't wash up on the beach. But I understand that's difficult everywhere. Sorry, Cop. And so yeah, trash hero. Trash hero. Hello, YouTube. This is great. Oh, that was nice. I would say I think most of the people were probably, I mean, Asians don't age, so they could be 60. I was going to say, they're probably in their mid-40s. Dude, Brian, what's happening, my buddy? What's happening, brother? Hello, Earl. Good to see you. Mayang Buntag, Mike. Carl, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for a tip on the Richard G investing channel. You're very welcome, Patrick. Again, he's a good guy to talk to. He's a good guy to listen to. Again, just start there, right? And just like when the doctor says, I don't know, I mean, we could give you a bandage or we could amputate. How about I get a second opinion? So there's no downside to that. But what I will tell you, the thing that I really like about him the most, even if I wasn't going to take his advice, but he's very clear. He's like, look, I'm giving you investment advice. None of this like sign up. And here's the cool part, guys, is that right now he's maybe got 10 videos. You can watch them all. So Paul says to Patrick, I heard a discussion about investing for big returns. Did that involve Richard G? I don't know. You can give your opinion on that. I don't think he's a big returns guy. I think he's a smart guy. Here's the downside for me, is that I don't understand calls and puts. And so I stay away from that. I don't short things. But he gave me some basic advice and it was pretty simple. He's like, look, here, check this out. Watch these videos, read this text, whatever, every single day for 15 minutes a day. And then when you understand it, come back to me. So I did, and I came back and I said, hey, how you doing? Thanks a lot for that. Still don't get it. Well, so I understand it. I understand the calls and puts theory, but what I don't understand is how to execute on it, meaning I don't understand how to use my brokerage account to be able to do that. So anyway, that's okay. Patrick says, I was just watching one of your old videos when I got the live stream notification. Well, I am so thrilled, Patrick. Thank you, man. That's really awesome. The other thing that really is awesome is the fact that you actually got a notification. I get a notification daily from one of my subs, one of our friends here at the Cool Kids table, that he did not get notified. He notifies me every day that, well, didn't get notified. That's just a drag. And he's in my same time zone, right? So I'd be like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, I'd like to really chime in, I'm like, I'd love to hear from you, man. And so I don't know what the solution is. We've gone over the whole bell thing, and It's just reliably unreliable, unfortunately. But I appreciate it, Patrick. Patrick says to Paul, I believe so, Richard Garnache. Yeah, again, I don't... big returns are, big is a relative term, right? So, anyway, I like his shtick. So I'm up early today because I haven't gotten up early until today. But every time I got up and went outside, I'm like, whoa, you know what? It's going to be a lot cooler if I get up early. And I wanted to catch the sunrise. Unfortunately, the clouds caught the sunrise before I did. However, I'm not disappointed with what's going on with that presentation right there. I'm actually pretty darn okay with that. Now here's what's interesting. So I get to the beach, and there were all those yellow shirt people, all of the trash heroes, all of my trash heroes, hopefully your new trash heroes, and now they're gone. I see back there. Now there was this one, and they use like these fertilizer bags basically to get all the trash, and then they bring them back up to the street. This woman here, I don't believe she's digging, I don't believe she's mining for trash. She's likely trying to find some degree of, I don't know, I'm gonna go with shellfish maybe? Not sure. But anyway, it makes for a good place to live, right? Oh, and so to the whole good place to live thing. What was funny is I was just cruising around, basically inland a little bit yesterday, on the motorbike, and stopped at this little place, and for whatever reason opened up my phone and saw one of Joe's videos, Foreigner Joe. And remember how a few of you guys have said, hey, have you met up with Foreigner Joe? He's down in Prachuap Khiri. And I'm like, oh, no, I mean, he's busy and stuff. He's got his own life. I'm not going to, bother him and stuff. But if I run into him, that'd be cool. Well, the title of one of his more recent videos, not the one yesterday when they were up on the Monkey Mountain, but a few days ago, maybe 3 days ago by now. It's like, yeah, I'm going to Home Pro and subscriber meetup. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. So I sent him a message. I said, dude, how funny is it? I said, my guys were like saying, hey, you should meet up with Foreigner Joe. And so anyway, so last night after his video, when it came out, I said, oh man, I love climbing that mountain. 396 steps to success. And he said, yeah, absolutely. He says, you want to meet up for coffee? Shoots me his email. Which is funny because when he shot me his email, I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, I've had this guy's email for years. Well, I don't know how long he's been here. Has he been here 2 years? Anyway, I was an early subscriber. Because what was neat is, in a similar way to me, he began his videos before he got here. And I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder how this guy's transition plan is going to go. So that was very interesting to me. So anyway, so I was a sub for a while and shot him an email. And we're going to meet up today at 11. If you guys were here for the live stream yesterday during the torrential downpour, we're going to meet over at One and Only Cafe. And get some bean water. I'm really glad that I'm, you know what I'm going to do actually, is I'm going to hang out here a little bit. And because not only do I walk fast, but as you know, I speak loudly. And so I'm going to let that woman up there get a head start because, okay, maybe this works out well. All right, I'm going to do this without a blinker. Or not. Okay. I'm going to wait till she gets away. Okay, never mind. Anyway, what I wanted to check out is this boat up here. Because I had seen it being moored. Okay, she's walking like constantly. This is really ticking me off. I had seen it moored out here as the boats are. That's a pretty nice shot. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of, I mean, obviously it's not, the standard long-tail fisherman's boat. I'm like, this is something that's very different. And so then as I was driving the motorbike down the beach this morning, because I wasn't really sure where I was going to stop, what I wanted to do actually initially is I was thinking, okay, what I'll do is I'll like drive the motorbike down and I'll park it where I parked it, which was at the origin of Trash Heroes, and then I was going to walk out on the pier there and hang out at the end of the pier and do this live stream. And then I realized that there's probably, well, at least at the time, there's about 20 people on the end of the pier, and I thought, okay, well, that's not gonna. Oh, 5 likes! Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. 16 of you hanging out. This is an honor. This is great. Yeah, she's digging for gold. I think she was actually mining for it. Yeah, or panning for it actually. Oh, then she should be hitting on you. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Probably save results. I just get notifications as you start broadcasting. Ha! I made it. Gotta love Thailand. Good to see you, man. Well, you know what, guys? Who knows? Maybe today will be day of new phone. I do not know why the focus on this is so lousy, but I think we could all agree it is. I don't know why it does that, but anyway. Yeah, the notifications thing bums me out, guys, because I am 4,000% powerless over it, and you know, it's not like I can email customer support and actually get someone relevant on there. That is one probably of the top 2 things that really, really bother me about companies that get that large. What's interesting is that some companies that get large and that large, aka Amazon Web Services, their customer support is exceptional. It's ridiculously awesome, and you can pay like a little extra for response time. And I've always gotten the, you know, I mean, literally like an extra $100 a month. And if you're a business, another $100 a month for support is what we refer to as free. So anyway, it's a pleasure doing business with those guys. But it's a disappointment, and if you guys follow Rike's channel, you know the nonsense that he's had to go through, and of course the absolute offensive level of customer support, which is totally non-existent, that he's gotten from Facebook. So anyway, I sadly do not anticipate a solution is forthcoming from the folks at YouTube. So anyway, so this is this boat that I was talking about, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what they use it for. Obviously it's some kind of tour thing. I'm not quite sure whether they use it for scuba, or whether they use it for fishing charters, or whether they use it for dinner cruises. I'm pretty confident they don't use it for dinner cruises, but it's pretty cool. You guys can Google the website there, maybe tell me what you learn. And but it's interesting that it's here, because for the most part the last week or so it's been there, right? It's just been like sitting on its mooring, and I like this because then of course I can come up and judge it. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's got, you know, like dining room, sorry, it's got like dining room table right there. Sorry, there we go. There's the helm. Why are you not? Sometimes I really do not like this gimbal. I gotta tell you, sometimes it just really, and you know why I don't like it is because it doesn't operate with the ease that my last one did. However, my last one, obviously, caught fire, and now I can no longer use it. So anyway, the other thing that I found interesting about it is the fact that it's got this, you know, 250 horse outboard, right, on the one side of it. And I assume that it's designed to have one on either side. Obviously it's a, here, hold on. There we go. Obviously it's a, there we go, catamaran type dual hull thingy. I'm not exactly sure exactly what you call that, even though I am a boat guy, believe it or not. That lady's kind of annoying, actually. You know, like every time I tried to like let her go, she would stop, and then I would like, anyway, whatever. White chicks, right, guys? Absolutely. So, well, this is cool. Yeah, so I'll have to Google that and find out exactly what occurs with this. But this is the main reason I wanted to walk down here. Hey, made it. Right on. Gotta love Thailand. Hey, just so I know, like, do you have a channel? Because if you do, then I'll check it out. Mike, thanks for your response to my email. Appreciate the insight, Carl. I am so grateful I was able to get to that, buddy. I'm really, here's the thing, guys. I am overwhelmed, over the moon, honored by the fact that so many of you reached out and believe that anything I have to say is of value. That's a huge honor. The downside is that so many have, excuse me. And because of that, as Carl, as an example, I think Carl sent me an email, I want to say 4 or 5 days ago. And it took me, and again, I'm a long talker, I'm also a long typer, especially when the emails are great like Carl's, which is, hey Mike, here are my sort of specific, thing, which is great. As I've mentioned before, I mean, bless everyone's heart who's done this, and I totally get it. But when, I get an email that says, hey Mike, I'm thinking of moving to Southeast Asia, what do you think? I'm like, I have no idea how, I don't know. I think you should, and I don't want to just sort of respond in a flippant way like that. But the point is that it took me, I think, 3 days to respond to Carl's email. I started typing it when I was coming to the train. I typed a little bit of it after the train, and then I typed a little bit of it the other day, and then I think I finally finished sending him the email last night. So once again, I've sort of reached the boundaries of how I can scale communication. And, again, it's like, well, right, Mike, that's why there's YouTube. So you can talk to 10, 15, 20 people at a time. Okay, great. I get that. Anyway, Carl, I'm glad you got it. I hope it adds value. And with any luck, what you can do is you can help other people too, you see, because then selfishly it takes the burden off me. No, I'm kidding. Then, people get your opinion as well, which is great. My notifications seem to arrive almost immediately. That's how I got in first. Winning! What up? High five. Brian says, I think I got all the notifications every 30-minute heads up. Absolutely, dude. Non-stop live streams, B. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, Jim, good to see you, buddy. All right, Mike, check you later. Going to watch PPV. Very good. Thank you, Todd. Oh, so the sun is now coming past those. Why does it not? It's got a zoom issue, really. I mean, I can literally make it not focus, which is annoying. Anyway, that's pretty awesome, right? Yeah. That's a winner. That's a winner. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do about this camera, because it's basically about as unreliably reliable as YouTube notifications. And the last thing I want is a YouTube notification camera. So I may need to upgrade. I think I've had this phone I don't think I've had it for 2 years. If I have a phone for 2 years, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll get a different phone. I'll upgrade my phone. Anyway, so Joe and I are going to meet at 11 o'clock, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I was, this close, as they say. Jim says, hi, Mike's finally caught your live stream. Right on, Jim. That's cool. I've seen you in the live chat before, man. Anyway, I'm glad you caught this one. I'm doing about 2 a day, it seems. I mean, I'll do one in the mornings when I'm walking around, and then I'll do one later in the afternoon. But I wanted to get out early this morning. Right now it is 7:09. Excuse me. And I get up about 5:45. And again, had that cloud cover not been there, then my morning sunrise would have actually existed. So then I took the motorbike down to 7-Eleven because their coffee is pretty decent, actually. It's not the coffee that I prefer, which is the coffee that is soaking in a giant metal tin in a sock that when you pour it out, it looks like motor oil. I mean, I know that's like a joke people say, but like it literally does. I mean, it's got the viscosity and the consistency and the color. Dirty motor oil. Oh, guys, you have no idea. I just don't get it. I can't win with this stuff. I invest in this technology, but you know, I mean, well, Mike, maybe you should spend $4,500 on a DSLR. Then you wouldn't. Yeah, well, that's not happening. So anyway, but I'm going to stop complaining about it, and I'm going to enjoy what I got around me because I'm living the dream. Paul says, I wanted forever to upgrade my phone also from Galaxy S5 to an S10s. Wow, what a view. Yeah, I would agree, my friend. That's kind of why I wanted to come down here. This is my life at like 5 knots. Walking on the beach. And I love beaches like this with a very slow slope, because you know when you got one that's like really, you know, tilted kind of thing. And because of that, like, you know, one of your legs is longer than the other as you walk down the beach kind of thing. So now that's a timeless photo right there. Because I could literally be in New England in the summer and see that exact same thing. Maybe not with that can there, but definitely the cooler, definitely the what would we call those? Surf casting rods, I think, maybe not. They might be a little longer. I think I'm used to longer ones maybe. Jim Somerville, who I'm not really related to other than the fact that our last names are spelled the same. He lived down in Florida for a while, and I believe he's quite the fisherman. And he's on my Facebook, and he actually has popped by the live stream occasionally. However, let's see, 7 a.m. Thailand, so it is 8 p.m. East Coast. I don't believe he's in Florida any longer, actually, but he was down on the Gulf Coast of Florida, on the west side, and you know, it's funny, I got connected with a whole bunch of Somervilles on Facebook because there was this, I think it was Teespring, you know, the company that does a lot of, you know, custom printing t-shirts. So for example, like if you've ever gotten one of Rob's t-shirts, I believe Teespring is the back-end company that does it. Anyway, they did this amazingly intelligent promotion on Facebook. Is what they did is they went into your profile. I mean, you know, it's public, right? If you have it published, if you have your last name published. And then they made an ad on the fly that basically showed your last name like on a t-shirt. And so therefore, a whole bunch of people, or essentially everybody that has their profile to the ability for a company to do that, pseudo-public, and then of course ad-based. So a bunch of people with the same last name would, like, you know, post on it, right? Well, then you see a whole bunch of, you know, posts underneath this ad with people that have your same last name. And I don't know if this was the intention for it or whatever. I mean, I did order some t-shirts, but then you know, it was neat. The novelty wore off, and then I threw them away. Because it was something like, oh yeah, once I thought I was wrong, but I can't be because I'm a Somerville or whatever it was. Anyway, but what was cool is that I then got connected with a whole bunch of people that have my same last name, or at least have the spelling the same as I do. It's an 11 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone from San Diego. Juan, how you doing, buddy? Stepping out. Your last video was cool, my friend. Sadly, the other thing I don't have enough time that I want to do. What am I using to go live? So I'm using my Google Pixel 2 XL, which is which is an LG phone. And I've had it, it's probably, by now, it's probably like the day it hit the market, it's probably 3 years old by now, maybe 2. And it's adequate, I suppose, although it's starting to slide into inadequate.com. But for right now, it's good enough, and the nice thing is I can basically throw it in my pocket and hop on a train for 5 hours and stream. So there's a part of me that's like, well, I could do that with it, so why not, right? But now if I could find a camera, what would be neat is if I could find a camera that indeed had Wi-Fi, but also had the ability to put a SIM in there, and then I could use the data SIM to stream live, as well as do my, walk and talk videos, and then using the Wi-Fi or whatever, upload them later, and then edit them. But who knows? The sanity part that you guys allow me to have through these, I was really appreciating it. Yeah, that's cool looking. I was really appreciating it yesterday when we were hanging out at the coffee shop during the massive rainstorm. Oh, and here's the other thing too. I mean, you guys aren't, down the street, so it's not. But the point is, if for whatever reason you come to Prachuap Khiri, or you know anyone who's in Prachuap Khiri, I would really appreciate it if you guys would share the fact that one and only cafe is really great. Here's why. So I finished my stream yesterday, right? I tighten everything, or I tie everything up. I get it in my bag. I go inside, and I'm going to pay. And the people were just kind of sitting there on their phones, and there were no customers. And I'm like, okay. So then I pay. And, they say thank you and everything. I said, hey, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. It was great. I really appreciate you letting me stay there and all that. And there is like a cover over the front window. And I think to myself, oh, okay, well, that's there because of the, the rains that were happening. So then I get on my bike, and literally 10 seconds later, the guy he walks outside, and, wants us to take a good, thank you very much, man. Aloha, good to see you. Good to see you, Doc. So the guy comes out and grabs the keys and locks up the shop. And I was like, wait, are you closing? And they said, oh, chai. And I said, oh my God. I said, I'm sorry. You should have totally kicked me out. You guys didn't need to stay open because, I was here. And they're like, oh, no, my pinarai, And I just, that was just nice. And so I thought to myself, I can't really tip them because, it's not like Starbucks where they give you the opportunity. I think it's hilarious how Starbucks has a tipping jar. It's like, bro, I just paid 9,000% markup on this bean water. So I'm going to go out on the pier, I think. Shady cop. Oh, I forget to have this over my face when I walk by people. But, okay, now there's no people, right? So I forgot. Anyway, it looks like there's less people out here. It looks like there's trash heroes out there, actually. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, one and only cafe. So when Joe's like, hey, where do you want to meet? I said, well, I'll leave it up to you to tell me where the best coffee is in Prachuap Khiri, you permanent resident, you. I said, but yesterday I was over at one and only during the during the rainstorm that lasted. How long do you think that lasted, guys? You think that was about an hour? Maybe not that long. I think my stream was like an hour and 50, something like that. But anyway, I said, yeah, we can meet at one and only. And so we're going to meet at one and only. So that's cool. Because I really like paying patronage to people that, well, deserve it, quite frankly. And so that's really cool. One of my favorite noises in the morning is when is when the, sort of like, well, not necessarily that one, more like this one, or these long-tail boats. They will they start cruising around, and they head out basically for the day of fishing, I guess. Again, I'm ignorant. I don't know exactly what they're doing in the morning, but the motor is on them. It's just like these really quiet, chill, dug. It's not like a old Briggs and Stratton or something. It's almost like this calming engine in the mornings for, I don't know, I just like it. So, I'm checking out some comments here. And we got alohas going back and forth. Thank you guys so much. You work in the medical field, right? Yes, Paul. How about you? Okay, thank you. Stay safe out there. Paul's a computer programmer / software engineer. Hey, Paul. You ever write any code that attaches to the YouTube data API? Because I would really like to come up with a reliable notification system. Oh, man, it is. I've looked at the API, man, and I said, okay, well, the cool part, like the grasshopper motors, absolutely, yeah. I've looked at the API, and it pretty much has the information that I need in there. And, you know, I can easily set up like triggers and that sort of thing, you know, kind of like a la Zapier or if this, then that kind of thing. But what I have not been able to figure out a way to do easily, which is what I want to do, and I try to do manually, and again, right now, it's not that difficult. But what I want to be able to do, it's probably not that hard. Yep. Yeah. Well, I am quite certain that as a software engineer, that statement is probably very accurate. For me, I'm more of a hardware user. Sorry, I'm more of a software user and a systems guy. So in any case, my coding is imperfect, but I think what I've written up a job description, if you will, and I threw it on Upwork, and it seems like there's some people that, you know, kind of get it. The first thing I want to do is I want to be able to hook into the API, and I want to pull out the names of all of you guys that chat in the live stream. There's pieces of software out there, but and they give you the ability to sort of scroll the names up, you know, like after. The problem is that they only do it for people who give super chats, and I'm like, okay, since when are people who pay the only people that add value? Like, that's ridiculous. Do a lot of C#. Right on. So here's one for you, Paul. Do you believe that C# is, could we call it synonymous with Microsoft's version of Java? Maybe that's not what I'm thinking of. Anyway, yeah, I programmed in C# before, but it was a while ago. I'm trying to think the last code that I wrote. Well, the last code that I wrote I did recently, but it was like really hacked up because I was just trying to solve like one problem. Basically what I was doing is I was looking at public profiles of YouTube for about 5 or 6 of my buddies. And, you know, you can get like negative words lists, right? So I was comparing a lot of the comments in their videos with negative words lists, as well as looking for specific YouTube channels that one would refer to as trolls, and then I would then go in and block that person from my channel so that they can't come on, they can't make any comments, that sort of thing. Because again, like I've said, I'm pretty, you know, set on setting up the proper culture here for all of us at this Cool Kids table. Pat always gets the notifications. Awesome. Here's Pat. Here's what you're going to do. No, I'm just kidding. Pat, you want to like notify Dave Clark every time you get one? Because he doesn't get them. No, I'm teasing. I'm glad you do. And again, there's no secret. There's no magic, right? It just like doesn't happen reliably. C# came out of Java. Initially was J#. That's right. I completely forgot. And then they had legal problems and had to invent their own language. Yeah, I understand. Oracle owns Java, right? Is that true? Yeah, they do. There's a lot to be said for Java, provided you have a really, really good skill set at writing it elegantly and efficiently. I ran into a lot of guys that call themselves Java programmers, and I think they got that mixed up with having the ability to actually program in Java versus the ability to just buy a cup of coffee and program. Java can get really, really bulky in my experience if you're sloppy. But it can also be ridiculously reliable and a great language if for no other reason than if you quit or die, the next guy to look at your code, he's like, oh yeah, I can totally do this. Not is the same with COBOL. And I read a report that is the biggest problem that was facing the unemployment websites in all of these cities, and the reason it was crashing because it was written in COBOL, and to fix those websites so that they could handle significant traffic, apparently they couldn't just rewrite the COBOL, nor did they, well, and again, you can't just, oh hey, COVID's happening, I'll tell you what, why don't we rewrite all this COBOL in the next 26 days. I get it, that's easier said than done, right? But there was no project in place, and they were just, praying, well, God, I hope Steve doesn't die because he's the only guy that knows this COBOL stuff. And that happens, sadly, a lot. I used to work with the VAX VMS system, and I can tell you that when I started at the University of San Diego, we were running what's referred to as a faux VAX, and effectively it was VMS software running on top of Windows Server. And there was like, 2 guys that supported it, and that was running our student information system, which was offensive. We've since migrated away from it, but the point is that I've absolutely had firsthand experience running things in the enterprise that are ridiculously antiquated, but yet it still happens. Paul says, so there are a lot of syntax similarities, managed memory, etc. Yeah. Paul also says, can you reiterate which API you want to hit again? Push notifications. Mike, what cell phone provider do you use, and what plan do you have and cost? So I'll answer that really quickly. One, I have AIS, and I have the plan that costs approximately 1,000 baht per month, and it allows me, in air quotes, unlimited data, which basically means I will get a notification after I've gone through 100 gigs, 100 gigabytes, not gigabits, 100 gigabytes, and they will just simply give me the opportunity to give them more money. I've never hit that limit, even with, because if you don't know, like before I was live streaming, every video that I would take, my phone, regardless of whether it was on Wi-Fi or not, it would upload all of the video to Dropbox as well as Google Photos. And then I would, when I got home, if you will, from the video shoot, then I would go to Dropbox and I would use an editor, an online editor inside of Chrome that is very well integrated into Dropbox. And so therefore I didn't need to, as you hear a lot of guys doing, copy all of the video footage over to my laptop, because I'm like, okay, that is, I can identify wastes of time pretty good. And that is a large one right there. So I said, no, I'm going to handle this. So anyway, so that's what I use, Juan, and I have had my AIS phone number here in Thailand. I think I got it on the 3rd day I was here, so I've had it for probably 6 or 7 years. In the United States, I also have 2 Google Fi numbers, meaning that I have one for me and I have one for Gracie. And I just keep those running, because then that allows me basically anywhere in the world to be able to turn on my phone and have it work. And I also need a US phone number, and the beauty of Google Fi is the fact that it will, all of the SMS, with the exception of about 0.0 or 0.1% of the SMS messages I get, they will all show up in GChat. So, once again, oh my God, Mike, you took more than 2 seconds to answer a question. How shocking. Anyway, so to Paul's question, the API. So there's 2 APIs, and the data API was actually the one that I was looking at. Inside the data API, at least as I read the documentation, I believe inside of the data API, there is the live stream API. At least that's the way I read the documentation. Inside of there, I believe there is a field labeled, I want to say contributor. I can't remember. Anyway, it is the variable that is your names. Okay, so in other words, it's Stepping Out, it's Paul T, it's, and I can dump that list. And there's even a Google Chrome plugin that allows me to keep track of all of the live chats as we're cruising along if I'm in my browser, if I'm on my laptop. And for the most part, I was doing a whole ton of live streams on my laptop, so it was no big deal. But now I've been doing them on the phone, and I can't really, and I don't run it inside of Chrome. I run it inside of the The YouTube app. So anyway, what that allowed me to do is, yes, while I could totally export the entire chat thing, which was kind of cool at first, but then really became unnecessary. What it did allow me to do with those little 3 dots, you know, that's above the live chat in the browser, I could export just the names. And I thought, okay, great. So that's kind of getting me there. That means there's a company out there that's already written this sort of thing that lists all of the names. But it was unreliable. And so for some reason, even though the entire file would contain from the first chat all the way to the last chat, when I would say export names, it would give me like 80% of them. And then I'd scroll through because I wanted to verify it. Because again, I want to be able to thank every single one of you at the end of these live streams for chatting. And, oh, good morning. Good to see you, Bob. And you're very welcome. Very welcome, Sean. Juan, sorry. So anyway, I didn't really find a elegant solution to that. It is a beautiful view, right? Yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty darn nice, man. That's an amazing mountain up there. 396 steps, by the way. Have I ever mentioned that? You guys that have seen a couple of our videos, Gracie and I, we would walk up there. And my phone really is not that hot, but for some reason the autofocus on it is junk. Anyway. So yeah, so Paul, so what I'm kind of wanting to do is, I mean, obviously you've heard of Zapier, right? So I sent those guys a message and I said, okay, well, so, you know, you guys hook into the data API. Obviously, there's no way you could accomplish what you accomplish without doing that. So I know you know how to do that, and you have your key set up and, you know, and everything, and I have that set up too. You know, basically in Google Cloud Platform, you go into the console and you set up the API keys, okay? So I did, fine. So I said, all right, obviously you guys have that. And you're able to make calls into it, and you're able to sort of, you know, I said, but here's the data that I want. Well, we really don't have a whole lot of, and I said, look, I'm not sending you this message because I'm curious if you have the skill set. I want to know, A, if it's going to cost me to do that, if you will do it. And if not, you can just say, no, Mike, that's not high on our priority list because all we want to do is thank the people that do super chats. I'm like, you know what? I got no use for you. So anyway, I want to figure out a way to do it myself. And Carlos has got to go, Mike. Do some stairs and walking. This sitting down is the new smoking. Yeah, you know what? One of my guys that worked for me said that. He goes, yeah, sitting, especially in the IT business, sitting is the new smoking. Next live stream, count all the steps. Yeah. I did that before in a video, and that was back in December, i.e. the coolest months in Thailand. And it would be brutal to do that right now. Kurgan, it is beautiful. I completely agree with you. I must check it out sometime. I'm in Thailand. Great footage in your live streams, dude. Oh, thanks, man. I'm sorry it keeps blurring. There's a couple of these things along the beach, you know, opportunities for like selfies, and you know, obviously it's official, right? Because it's got the Google thing there. That's how you know. I mean, it's real. And of course, you know, nothing says Prachuap Khiri like USA_U squiggle. I'm so ignorant. I really wish I could read Thai. But, you know, that, to be fair, it's like I also wish I could play the piano, but I don't want to take lessons, right? So it's not like Thailand is without schools for me to learn their language. And as I mentioned before, if Gracie gets to come over here and it's at the sort of expense, if you will, of when she comes over here, she has to stay here and can't go back to the Philippines. Then if she is gonna, you know, need to stay here, then we're absolutely gonna sign up for Thai lessons, because the reason we weren't doing it in the past is because it's like, okay, well, you got to sign up, but you basically got to go to school like, you know, 2 to 3 times a week for effectively the entire year. And I'm like, well, okay, that would be great. However, we want to go to Vietnam and we want to go to Malaysia and or not Malaysia anymore. We want to go to Singapore. We want to go to Indonesia. We want to cruise over to Bali. Bali, maybe. And check those places out. I want to go to Brunei because, you know, nothing says, hey, let me spend as much money as I possibly can in 15 minutes. Nothing says that better than Brunei. You thought you thought Singapore was expensive. What's up, buddy? Let me make sure I got this thing going on here. Good evening, Bob. Yeah, I saw you there. Cool. Yeah, sorry. I absolutely agree with you, man. I really think it is beautiful here, Pat. And I'm not sure where you are in Thailand. I mean, I was in... check it out the next time I'm in Thailand. Okay, sorry. I thought you said you were in Thailand. I apologize. His video is sharp, at least here on my TV. Well, good, guys. Stepping out, yes, agreed. I have to check out Prachuap. Hello from Atlanta, Rockman. What's happening, my friend? Now, I'm walking down to Monkey Park. If you saw Foreigner Joe's video and he was like walking around and you thought to yourself, wow, that's a lot of monkeys. It is a lot of monkeys, yes, but there are infinitely more monkeys. And pretty much all you got to do is walk around with a Snickers bar. While these monkeys are able to sustain themselves off of the, the foliage and the bugs and whatever they do, they're also quite used to tourists providing them with food. And so as an example, I was sharing this the other day. So I was sitting basically like, well, I was sitting in a bench like this. It was all the way down there. The monkey sort of parking lot is right there. So anyway, so I was sitting like basically right here. Like I was sitting like on a thing like right here, and my mango smoothie was sitting like right here, like right on this thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking out over the street, and literally this monkey just comes like right up to it, and he sits like right here. And as he's just jumping up to like sit there, I grab my drink away, and I stand up and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna deal with this dude. So I look right at him and he looks at me and he gives me the shows his teeth. And I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. I got opposing thumbs, bro. I out-reasoned you millennia ago. Have you seen the weapons we make? So anyway, but I was not in the mood to get into an altercation with the species, because I'm quite certain that if I attacked him, there's the high likelihood that all of his monkey buddies. Now, so I don't know if you guys have Google Translate. I do, and so what I could do is I could actually take a picture of this. If you guys can screenshot that, and if you use Google Translate, then you can import that picture, and it will tell you what it says. I don't know what it says, but this is the first time that I've come and they've had the sort of covers, if you will, or not the, no, what's the word I'm looking for? They've limited your ability to get to the beach. And again, I don't know if that says, hey, sorry, dude, beach closed. But obviously I was walking on the other beach. So again, I don't know. I mean, what they're doing a lot of places is they're taking advantage of this, hey, nobody's outside business. And they've been, doing infrastructure projects, so they'll basically, they'll like fix the tile and, that sort of thing. So for all I know, that's what they're, for all I know, that's what they're doing here. And that's why this, like, just sort of, hello, somebody cop. That's a nice guy, has a nice smile. But I'm not quite sure what that is. I think you just told me that you are from living the dream, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. Way to go, Rackman. Pat Pong says, Mike, I live in Dallas. I was in Thailand last year. Chiang Mai, Krabi, Ao Nang Beach, Pattaya, and Bangkok. It was an incredible trip. Good for you, dude. That sounds like a great hop around. That's outstanding. How long was that, did you say? So I'm going to go with, to make it an awesome trip and cruise around and not spend your entire trip on planes, I'm betting you were here like at least a month, man. That was probably awesome. Good for you. I hope you get to come back soon, my friend. I wish everybody, not just, come to Thailand. That's not the solution for everybody, but at least the ability to. Because I will tell you, as much as my last gig, like, sort of soured, right? The only way that I was able to really even go to Thailand the first time is the fact that I worked in higher ed, and I could take that many days off in a row. Because, you know, a real job, if you will, right, gives you like 2 weeks vacation a year. And while I probably would have still considered it, so I'm going to use the wonders of technology to proactively prevent me from getting rabies. But this is whoops, sorry, cancel. These guys are everywhere, that's for sure. And he's there and he's hanging out. And then there are a whole bunch of his friends over there. And way in there, just waiting to pounce. Waiting for the banana. Waiting for the banana. But anyway, I'm gonna turn around and maybe I should do it this way just in case you can be like, Mike, you know he's following you, right? Nah. Beach looks better. Paul says, I'm looking into the YouTube API, including live chat messages that include names. Yes. So inside of live chat messages, if you look at the specs for it, I might be saying it 3.5 weeks, Pat. That's a good amount of time, though, brother. I'm telling you. I know. I mean, you know, I'm sure we know the majority of the people we know that work back in the United States. They would give their right arm to take 3.5 weeks contiguous on vacation. So good for you, man. I'm glad you got to be able to do that. I'm sure you experienced it to the best of your ability. But as you probably experienced, they gave you a taste of it. And I mean, I don't meet anyone that's like, oh my God, I was over in Thailand for like 3.5 weeks. I couldn't wait to get home. Although maybe there are people like that. They just don't do YouTube videos. And thank God they're not friends of mine. Because they would be acquaintances. They wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't share the same beliefs, I don't think. Hey, I went up there with a heavy pack, loaded, looked brutal. Oh, yeah. Joe did, Foreigner Joe, yeah, that's part of his video. That's right. I think I fell asleep last night. I don't believe I watched it all the way to the end. Maybe I did, I can't. Oh, no, I think I can't. Anyway, regardless. So Paul, so in the API, I can't remember, I believe it begins with a C. It's either like, or no, maybe it's participants. Maybe the label for people that post inside of the live chat, I think they might call it participant name. Does that sound right? Anyway, what I want to do is I want to take that data, and then what I would love to do, ideally, is to squirt it into the credits widget inside of the Streamlabs API, because that is the one that I'm talking about, that now will automatically, I mean, I can just hook it into my account and it'll scroll the names of people that like super chat and that sort of thing. But again, that's not good enough. But what I emailed the dev team, because you know how basically, like, if you want to get into an API, it's usually just like dev.websitename.com or websitename.com/dev, and then you get all the API specifics. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I said, all right, well, I'll send the support team a question. And of course I sent it to support, and you know what I mean, it got to level 1 support, and they're like, let me get back to you. I'm going to have to talk to the dev team. I'm like, that's fine. I don't expect your tech support people to be developers. If they are, then they're way expensive. And that is the most expensive support model. You gotta get level 1 support, because otherwise you end up getting your the smart guys providing hey, so did you plug it in type support. And you know, opening up the ticket is important too, because you want to be able to grab the right data. Anyway, so they said, well, there are a team of developers. What was funny is they said we have developers, and that could be some custom code that we wrote. But I was like, yeah, but that's going to be expensive, and I get it. It's not your mission, it's not your goal, it's not part of your, you know, your next dev cycle. Your next sprint is not going to involve, oh hey, let's make this thing that Mike wants. So anyway, but it looks like I would be able to take any data I want and shoot it into their widget. The Streamlabs API is pretty basic. The Google APIs are, what's crazy about it, right, is that there is so much data available. I mean, it's Google, right? And, but there's so few people taking advantage of it. I don't understand it. There's so much neat stuff that you could do with all of the data that's available. And considering how common and how ridiculously popular these live streams have become. 17 likes. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. 25 of you hanging out. Awesome. Welcome to the Cool Kids Table. They seem to call the message writer the author. Good morning. Good to see you stuck. Hit that like button, everybody. Hey, somebody scream. I actually used to say exactly that in this one nightclub that I worked at. Yeah, but the front stage right now, Jessica's dancing for you guys. Backstage, Angela. Don't forget those all-new world-famous Pacer t-shirts. Those of you that are from San Diego will know what I just referenced. So smash that like button. What was that guy that did that? Supoman. Supoman was this guy's name, and he used to do daily vlogs relative to altcoins, and so Bitcoin, right? But altcoins, pretty much. He didn't really talk a whole lot about and where the market was going, what's happening with each company and stuff. But yeah, he called himself Supoman, and he would basically begin his videos with like, "Hey, what's going? It's your world famous Supoman. Smash the like button," and then So he was kind of. I always think about that when I think about smashing the like button. They seem to call the message writer the author. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but Paul, shoot me. I mean, if you have the time. This is not this is not a requirement. But Paul, if you shoot me an email, livemyassoff@gmail.com. Then what I'll do is because what I did actually is I've already taken screenshots of the sections of the API that I want to attach to, and for some reason author is not ringing a bell, but maybe that's my problem. Is maybe I got either I got too granular or I wasn't granular enough, and it was all part of like the participant bucket. Anyway, if you would want to just kind of chat about it, that sort of thing. I mean, I'm not expecting code to run in a Lambda function, although that's of all the code that I've written or had written that like runs literally perfectly 100% of the time, AWS Lambda. I adore that solution. It is amazing. I had this guy via Upwork. He wrote me a Python script that runs in AWS Lambda, such that whenever I upload a new AWS instance, it would take certain information of it and it would populate the EC2 instance. So, you guys losing interest in this yet? I know I kind of lost Rob when I started talking about TransferWise yesterday, but I don't know. Maybe you guys find it interesting. I find it interesting. Technology should help, man. Battery may run out soon. I'm at 27%. Still live. Absolutely, MetTech. In fact, I've been live since yesterday. Everyone else has been here. Where you been, man? Now, I went live about, 58 minutes and 8 seconds ago. And I'm just like walking up and down the beach. It's getting a little hot. But what I'm also waiting for is I'm waiting for some of the stores to open because I need to go get a different pair of shorts. And while I'm not gargantuanly overweight, I'm larger than the average Thai. So I went and I bought some underwear, and they were double extra large, and they were still tight. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't scale, because they'll be fine for the first wear, but then of course once I wash them, they will shrink a little bit, and then they will be uncomf. So, what I'm going to ideally do is go over to Macro. They may open at 10, but they may also open at 8:30 or 9. Macro is the version of the Thai's version of Costco. And so depending upon the size of the macro, they may or may not have clothing. I also make cruise back over to Tesco Lotus because when I was there, I was looking for a long sleeve t-shirt, which I found elsewhere. But, oh God, you know, I buy coffee, right? And I totally forget it. So anyway, I may cruise over there. But, oops, sorry guys. Come on. Thank you. So anyway, Brian says, best answer for when are you coming home? I know you know it. Never. AWS Lambda is cool. See, Paul, you get me. Mowing grass, my apologies. Oh, well, you guys know how much I love that smell. Mowing grass is awesome. I'm just giving you a hard time, MetTech. That's what we do here at the Cool Kids table, guys. We play the dozens. So anyway, all right, well, it's been 1 hour. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me, all 25 of you, and thank you for the 22 thumbs up. I am going to hop on the motorbike, and I'm going to wear this lovely cover, and I am home. Well played, Brian. I will credit you for that. How's that? No matter where I go, I'm home. Aaron, thank you so much. It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com saying to you guys, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, you just aren't there yet, and it's absolutely possible. And let's do it together, because that's what we do at the Cool Kids table. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.